Imagine if you had a sandwich and a Nicholas on an aeroplane. You would have a roll cage. Thank you. See?
A necklace?
No, a Nick.
You didn't. It
Nicholas?
sounded like you said Nicholas.
No, Nicholas.
What?
If you had a sandwich, also known as a bread roll, and
Nicolas Cage is not in Snakes on a Plane.
Isn't he?
No! We learnt that the last
didn't we
time
cover
we
this
tried that
already?
crap joke.
Anyway, today we're doing a video, a sandwich, a roll, and Nicolas Cage. A sandwich, Nicolas sandwich, a roll cage. We're doing a video on roll cages. Apparently Nicolas Cage is not even in Snakes on a Plane, so let's just put that out there once and for all. Welcome to another episode of Mighty
Con Air.
Carmods.
Con Air. He's in Con Air.
Oh, he's in Con Air,
When he
is
has
he?
the hair extension, he's like,
That's still a
"Want
plane.
to break out of the plane!"
That
and the bad
counts.
guys in the plane.
I
and they
said
jump
a
out of the
sandwich on a plane.
Yeah.
I never said, you're the one who said snakes on a plane. I said a sandwich on a plane.
All right.
Anyway, Martin, let's talk too sexy, let's talk going fast, and let's talk crashing into walls. Go for it.
Oh. Firstly, try not to crash into walls. If you are going to crash
That's a
into
good
stuff,
point.
it's probably better that you have some kind of safety equipment. In a previous episode, we were talking about the fact that Too Sexy is in desperate need of some safety equipment.
Yeah.
I got to redo a whole bunch of things, but probably one of the most interesting pieces of safety equipment and a modification,
Is the
which
condom.
is what it's all about, is a roll cage.
That's
In this case, we're going to go down and see AGI roll cages to make a mad 6-point customized bolt-in roll cage from scratch.
I'm going to tell you why we're doing it, because Too Sexy is getting faster. The repetition that Too Sexy has been pumping is about to increase to a higher frequency until it explodes the track times all over everyone's face.
Do you know that's called a cadence?
All right.
It's Too Sexy's cadence.
Is it really?
Cadence.
Cajuns. 2 cadences on a plane. Anyway, and so, Martin, it's going downhill, so I think we should just get to it. The point is, Too Sexy is going to be going faster than anyone could have ever imagined. As such, we want to keep it safe, we want to keep it real, so it's time to install a roll cage, and you beautiful people are going to come with us. So jump on the magical dragon and come for a delicious ride with us as we head on down to Roll Cage Town.
That's right, Too Sexy is getting treated to a roll cage, fabricated in-house by AGI to fit our car. Hopefully we'll never need to fully test it, but it should add a nice amount of rigidity to the car as well as its obvious safety factors. Once the car has been measured up and test fitted, it's then jigged up, cleaned, welded and painted before being refitted to the car.
So we're down here with Adam. You might remember him from when we did Mod Max. We installed an AGI roll cage into that thing. Good to see you, Adam.
Thanks, Peter. Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, look, we've got a cage here for your Lancer. So this is a bolt-in 6-point. It's what we call a state level. So it's got a double diagonal through the hoop there. It's got a harness bar. You can hook on the shoulder strap harnesses there.
Where the bolts are, where the lugs are there.
Where the eye bolts are, yeah, that's correct. And we've got single door bars per side. So this would be sufficient for door-to-door car racing at a state level. But if you want to do things like race at Bathurst or do Targa Tasmania, there is more bar work involved, such as diagonals through the roof, more sort of side intrusion protection, windscreen pillar bars. So yeah, more bars, the higher up you go, basically.
So 6-point refers to the fact there's 6 points that it's attached to the car?
Correct, yeah. So if it was a half cage, it'd be just a 4-point. So you'd have the hoop points there and the backstay points. But once you come forward to a full cage, it is the 6 points.
With a bolt-in cage, also there's a possibility that say you have a front ender in the car, doesn't touch the cage, doesn't touch the rest of the chassis, but it might mean that your shell's not usable anymore, particularly in the case of a car like ours where it's not very expensive to get another shell.
Yeah.
Potentially you can take it with you?
Yeah, for sure. Look, yeah, we know of about half a dozen, or at least half a dozen cars that got themselves into a bit of strife last year, and the car was heavily damaged, but the cage came out and we set it back on the jig, and it hadn't moved a millimetre.
Yep.
It hadn't even scratched the paint. So whereas a welding cage, you are committed to that body shell and repairing that body shell, whereas a bolt-in, you can hopefully remove it and put it in the next one.
Can you tell me about the process of how you made this cage, particularly because I understand you haven't made a roll cage for that kind of car before. This one that you've made, you've obviously got the triangles that are going through the brace at the back, right?
Yep.
And then you've got the triangles that are coming down through here. So this here is the most like integral safety component then, right? This triangle.
Right, everywhere there's a triangle. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And so then what does that mean for this section here? Is this, because obviously some cars have a half cage, some have a full cage,
Yep.
so what's the benefit then of this full system on the front?
Well, this will protect your neck if you're upside down, but you're not really protected in the front end if it falls on top of the windscreen or you get hit from the side. So the front end's more about following the pillar of the car, keep it out of the way so we're not disturbing what you can see or how you get in and out of the car if there's a fire or some emergency.
Okay. So this is basically measured up in the car, taken to the jig, all the pieces are cut, welded, bent.
Yep.
Now, we've put this together just so we can kind of show what it looks like, but what is the process of now installing it in the car?
Installing it now, step one, we'll break it all down into a kit form, which is how you'd receive it if we posted it to you or picked it up from the shop, and put the entire thing together in the car, just loosely. Before doing anything else, anything that's got to come out comes out, the whole cage goes in. And
We've ripped a lot of stuff out of this car already. Right. Most of the bodily fluids and red leather has already been removed.
Perfect.
But what I was hoping is that Marty and I can be your work experience today.
No problem.
And so you can kind of direct us on the best way of inserting. There's been a lot of insertion that's gone on in that car in the past, but today there'll be,
will be no different.
Three guys, one car.
Perfect, my favourite. All right, so it's a coupe, easy, big door hole to get everything in, which is great. We love a big door hole. No seats, even easier.
Once the cage has been assembled outside the car and checked over, it's time to pull it apart and then insert it into the car. The main rear hoop is inserted through the large door opening and set in place. The rear stays are then fitted loosely to the main hoop. The sleeves are then slid into place and the bolts put through. They'll be left finger tight until the entire cage is put into place.
We just have to slide the dashboard back.
Unbolt it?
It's unbolted.
Oh, it is already, okay.
So we're going to slide it back, slot both front legs in these holes, which is going to be a pain, and then slide all three pieces back together at once.
Sounds easy.
Next, the front legs need to be inserted into the vehicle, which can require some serious surgery of the dashboard.
So we have to somehow get this part into this hole. Going through that hole there.
Is easier?
Yeah, because you tend to get bound up if you go anywhere else. No, the top one. The top
through there?
Yep.
Okay.
Try not to wreck the dash, Marty.
I know. Is that the spirit?
That's the spirit.
I believe in you. There's another Lancer at the front we can borrow parts from.
Oh, he won't mind.
This cage actually going through the dash is really neat, isn't it?
Yeah. It's this is sort of the difference as well between, some people put half cages in road cars.
Yeah.
It's a good safety thing, and it's much like we did with our MX-5, but this is way more serious.
Yeah.
Like having front hoops, and that's really, considering you're sitting here, having that strength through the front is definitely a plus. And it just gives you a bit more confidence, because if you're doing 200 down a straight, and like down at our local biggest track, that first right-hand turn, that's scary, man. Like you're hard on the brake, and if you get that wrong, that's like, don't really want to be doing cartwheels at 200 k's an hour in something where that is all that's supporting you.
With our front legs in place, we can bolt them up, check that everything's aligned, and then start to tighten up the whole cage. Different countries have various rules about running full cages in road cars. Too Sexy's days of rolling the street and show circuit are well in the past, but it's worth checking your local laws first to see what you can run.
Got bar, Martin.
Bar up.
Roll cages can make your car flex less when cornering, which can be a good thing, but there's also the factor of adding weight.
Man, we did this Getz recently, and he wanted a national level cage, so I went through the dashboard, another bar here.
What sort of car was it?
A Getz.
What?
A V in the roof, like V in the back stays.
Oh my God.
And it had little bars from here to here as well.
His missus said you can only have money for a race car if it's as safety possible.
Yeah, well, he had to make up weight. The category he was running in had a minimum weight that was heavier than a standard car.
His standard Getz. So he just said, just keep throwing bars in until it hits
Makes it safe.
X number. Yeah.
Safe and makes it safe, makes it stiff.
Yeah. That said, we did a lot of work with the XL racing, and we had one cage that went through 5 cars.
Really?
Like the shells are getting written off around it. You pull the cage out, put it back on the jig, everything measures up into the next one.
How you feeling about it, man?
I love it. It's a funny thing. It's like when you do a brake upgrade or something and you might not feel the initial sort of results of going, oh, it still stops, but this is driving around and just looking around and going, yeah, this is a lot safer because this is an economy car.
Yeah.
It's not made for racetracks.
It's fun though when you can just get something and a couple of hours later your car's better.
Well,
you're not on your back.
You know what's
You're
interesting?
not like getting all dirty and ripping stuff apart.
This is the definition of bolt-in though.
Yeah.
You know everything else we've bought lately that's been bolt-in?
Well, none of it.
This has more bolts than any of those things and it bolts in.
Yeah. Which makes it, yeah.
Like a good product.
Actually,
But yeah, this is great, man. I'm excited. Now I'm excited to put a proper seat in it, like a fixed back thing I think I'll have to go so I can use a harness.
Yep.
And then it's ready to go and, you know, it looks like crap though. It really does.
And you seem to believe now that when you've got your fixed back seat and your roll cage, that you'll destroy my 180 in this. That's the bit I find funny.
But I will.
It's cute, but it's
I will.
funny.
I'll have extra stiffness and I'll look legit.
Oh, sorry.
I'll look legit because I've got
Oh yeah, because looking legit
big
can
bars,
win a race.
like big bars everywhere.
Yep.
And yeah, man.
But you actually believe you'll win though.
I also believe
not
I'll
joking.
win. Man, the Lancers chop all 180s.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So this car is embarrassingly high, so we don't actually have to jack it up to put these bolts in.
All right. See, I was looking after you, man. When we left at this height, I was thinking one day when we do a cage, it's going to need to be high.
Mighty keeps saying though, probably the last 3 or 4 episodes of Mighty Car Mods, oh no, we're going to get it low and we'll get it fixed up and we'll get it whatever, and nothing's happened. So I'm just assuming he likes rolling up there, all up in the clouds and stuff.
On my stilts.
Why is it not low yet?
I'm going to, but the suspension's been all like aligned properly, and I don't want to mess with ride height, which will potentially upset my alignment. Then it won't be fast anymore.
Why don't you mess with the ride height?
I will, and then I'm going to go get it wheel aligned and stuff.
Give us a date, a
Soon.
deadline.
It's got to look good while it's broken down.
Hey!
Next up, the car needs to be drilled out so the cage can be bolted down through the supplied metal plates.
How you going?
Good, mate.
With only a few bolts left to go in, Too Sexy is getting closer and closer to being a race car.
Why do we use these?
These are to stop the cage ripping through the floor.
Yep.
Because the car's 0.7, 0.9, 1.2 mil sheet metal.
Yeah.
It's structural when it's in a box section, but not as structural as the roll cage. So this is to really stop the cage destroying too much of the car.
Because if you just had bolts and washers, it would essentially just
yeah, there's
probably
every
pull
possibility it could rip through the floor. So this is to try and minimise that.
So we bolt these in at the
Yeah,
front,
they
and then
go under the car.
Then our 6 anchors are pretty much good to go, and then we start bolting the rest of it.
Yeah, then you can tighten everything up. There's no
Amazing.
water.
Amazing. Let's do it.
Cool.
How tight do we need to go now when tightening all this up?
The floor, you can tighten it up as much as you want. You're not going to be able to crush 5mm plate with your hands. The sleeves really only need to be as tight as necessary because at some point you'll start crushing the tube with the bolts and then you won't be able to pull it apart again.
And so later on, we should be like checking it as well.
Yeah, after the first time you take it to the track or wherever you're driving it, you should
drive through probably.
Yeah, gutter hopping, whatever you're doing, you need to spanner check the whole thing after that.
Cool.
Awesome.
And what size bolts are these?
You got M8s through every sleeve and M10s on the door bars and through the body.
Awesome. Let's do it.
All high tensile.
No Bunnings bolts.
No Bunnings bolts, period.
No, those bolts. Not designed. They're designed to hold your fence together. They're
Yeah.
not designed for this.
Yeah, seen it all. You'll be able to see the cage moving inside the car.
Oh, okay. It moves around as you drive.
As you corner, yeah, you'll see it press to one side of the body.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, because they're really not that stiff, are they, these
The
cars?
cages are really stiff. Yeah.
Yeah, unless you're going to like go all out and seam weld.
car move.
You're seeing the car move, yeah.
Wow.
I think we're done.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Just got to throw the seats in.
Official racing bodies that are responsible for safety within motorsport have specifications that cars need to meet in order to be used for racing. They can often seem quite strict, but years of experience, testing, and a whole lot of crashed cars are the reason for all the rules. With the right tools and materials, you can make one of these cages yourself, but it will still need to be signed off before you'll be allowed to use the car on many tracks, particularly in competitions.
Oh, I've got to do the little dance over the roll cage bar. That's when you know you're in a serious vehicle. Well, that's awesome. Doesn't get in the way of my legs or my knees or my head. The bar there, I might put some padding and stuff on here just in case I move around when my helmet's on there. It might contact that. But that's awesome. It fits so well.
Because race car. What are you doing, man?
Well, the boys have let me know that it's sort of a rite of passage that once they help you on your car to sort of say thank you to them in a deep and spiritual way, you need to do a skid. So I'm going to do a skid.
Okay. What a shitbox. That's awesome.
Only mildly impressed with my one-wheel drive burnout, Matt decided to show us how it's done.
Alright, so there it is. Too Sexy has the safety equipment required for extra fast track speeds, which means we're going to be able to keep Martin safe. And if Martin was a rabbit and he was
A bunny, mate.
inside the Nicholas sandwich,
See, now he's got a, he's safe, see? Hello, I'm driving, I'm very safe, I'm not flying out. Now watch what happens when he doesn't have a cage.
and that's why you need a roll cage. We've eaten a lot of lollies today, haven't we, Martin? It's been a special day. Look at these seats that I made, Martin.
Yeah, well done,
let's
that's
just get random. That's a bit of wood there. That's a milk crate that I stole from
I
somewhere.
saw them in a hipster burger joint.
Did you?
Yep.
My ones.
I don't know.
Martin, let's get back to it. Okay, that's a roll cage. Massive thanks to the guys from AGI. Good work on the burnouts as well.
Incredible
Martin,
work on the burnouts.
Next up, I think it's time to get back to the 180.
Sure.
Because there's some fun things to do. And then there's a few more things to do on Too Sexy as well. So of course this journey continues the evolution of the rubbish Too Sexy and the awesome 180. So that's probably going to be happening next. So keep your eyeballs on our faceballs. Also, we've got another little silly show called the Unicorn Circuit on our second channel, MCM TV2. It's ridiculous.
Along with a whole heap
You
of
might
other
like
mad
it.
stuff.
You might not like it.
You might
Plus,
learn something about turbos on there too.
we have a whole bunch of new stuff coming out on that channel. So Unicorn Circuit, which comes out once a week, is like a variety show, car news and silly stuff. We usually eat weird things that we find on the street and try and play games. We've also got a new show called Go Fast Brett, which is a regular series with a friend of ours who's a proper mechanical engineer who invents and makes and does awesome things, blow-off valves and turbos, and that is also coming out once a week, covering all sorts of amazingly detailed questions that you guys have about blow-off valves and boosts and testing and myth busting and all sorts of stuff. That's all on MCMTV2, youtube.com/MCMTV2. That's it, man. I'd like to apologise now for those intros and outros because things were loose. I'm gone. I'm not even treating myself to a snack today. That's just it. I'm gone. I was going to eat one of those, what are those honeyed cashew nut things?
Dude, he was on our Capri. Do you remember that?
Yeah, he's from Lendis Ride. The train spotters knew it. I'll take him with me.
He was roadkill.
Was he?
Yeah, he got roadkilled on. He was on the back of the
Look
thing.
at him. Look at him. Get off my